high right-wing agitators, and in that I include politicians and right-wing media. I am old enough to remember a time that when there was a national tragedy, like Huntington yesterday, the country united and we just thought of the victims. We understood that it would take time to make sense of what happened, not that you can make sense of it, but in terms of we understood that the police needed time. We didn't need the instant gratification of finding out within the hour of what was going on. Our first priority was the victims and the victims' families. A time when party leaders would try to unite a country as opposed to instantly come up with, well, we need to know who committed the crime as soon as possible. Like, as if they don't want to tell us as soon as possible, because of course saying something like that makes people feel there's a conspiracy going on. A time when the Home Secretary didn't have to say, please don't speculate, just let people do their jobs and let's focus on the victims. A time when local councillors didn't interpret please don't speculate as they're trying to stop us talking about it. Again, feeding into a conspiracy theory. A time when political commentators didn't feel the need to have a knee-jerk reaction, acting like they knew what was the cause of the tragedy before anybody actually does know. Influencers that decided that they had to comment on it before any information was actually known, and that commentary had to say that actually the person or the people that perpetrated the crime must have come from overseas. It's like people post before they've engaged their brain. Instead, they engage their bigotry or their ideology. Odd that people find the need to post things that probably didn't happen. The thought that somebody else woke up in a different country and immediately text their friend to say what's happened to your country, and for that person still with no information to go immigration. Like, it's a bit bonkers that a tragedy happens and influencers who are media platform suddenly saying we should all want to carry pepper spray. This is somebody's catastrophic thinking style being acted out online, making other people even more anxious. Or members of parliament, again, still no facts known, deciding that this tragedy should end in the death penalty. Like, it's a weird world where a tragedy happens and certain factions within our society are desperately hoping that it's terrorism. And when the police don't announce that it's terrorism, their frustration leads them quickly to condemn mental health. Like, it's a weird thing to be angry at the potential of it being mental health, especially when that same person plays, to use their term, the mental health card themselves when they want a little bit of leeway for being in prison themselves. And it's weird that the response from the leader of the opposition is to say, as a country, we've got to start questioning why these tragedies happen. Because if I had to put money on it, I would say 14 years of austerity, 14 years of stripping back public services, 14 years of underfunding the NHS and specifically not funding mental health services properly enough, getting rid of Sure Start, getting rid of youth centres, not investing in communities. I mean, personally, I don't think today is the time to start having those conversations. But if the leader of the opposition thinks that's the first thing in their mind, maybe that's a starting point for them. And in the strangest of twists, one lone nutter these days means that everybody calls for the Prime Minister to resign. Like a lot of people, I remember Dunblane happening. I remember Hungerford happening. I remember being on the underground back in the days when the IRA were constantly issuing bomb threats. But throughout all of those extremities, I've never known a time when people don't wait to find out what the police have got to say, where people are impatient to find out what the police have got to say, where people have called on the Prime Minister of the day to resign, where instead of thinking of the victims, people end up thinking of themselves. Like, social media is turning people doolally. A rough estimate suggests that every week in the UK, 33 million people travel by train. Yesterday was an anomaly, a one-off incident, a one-off tragedy that impacted 10 people and their families. The nutter on the train directly impacted the people on the train. However, the social media influencers are directly negatively impacting the mental health of millions in the UK. These are stupid posts for a one-off tragedy. So is it their own anxiety that they're projecting onto all of us in the hope that we catch it? Or are they opportunistically trying to weaponise a tragedy for their own political gain? Who's to say, eh? Thoughts to the people involved in yesterday's tragedy, as you were.